The Ford Fiesta's been around since 1976, that's 34 years ago, and that, believe it or not, makes it older than me. Unlike me, it's also become cooler, slimmer and generally better as the years have gone by, to the extent that we now have the Space Age Mark VI Fiesta in all its kinetic design finery. Back in the 80s, the Fiesta was remarkably one of two Ford models that shared its name with a pornographic magazine, the other one being the Escort. But while hot hatch ST versions of the Fiesta might appeal to men in dirty Macs, the Fiesta is a great car for all the family. That's because the current Fiesta will seat 5 in relative comfort and swallow plenty of luggage thanks to folding rear seats and 290 litres of storage space extending to almost 1,000. It's bigger than it's ever been inside, but it's also gadget heavy and in most specifications very swish. That's because smaller cars like the Fiesta are moving up market as manufacturers realise that buyers want smaller, cheaper cars, but don't necessarily want to skimp on luxuries like sat-nav, Bluetooth, leather and aircon. There are many different specifications and engines on top of the choice of 3-door or 5-door models, so getting a car that suits your needs is important in terms of engines, body style and transmissions. If you're doing a lot of miles, go for a diesel and consider the automatic. If you need to transport lots of people regularly, pick a 5-door and so on. Whatever your needs, there'll be a Fiesta to suit you, even if you're used to larger cars. The petrol engines are expected to be the most popular, but if money is really important, consider the 5-door e-Kinetic, which will be exempt from road tax and the congestion charge, and should offer good running costs too at a possible 78 miles per gallon. The Fiesta looks stunning outside, but the theme continues when you get in, particularly in the high-end titanium spec and this Zetec trim, but also with the interior layout and design. This centre console is inspired by a mobile phone. It looks really intuitive. It just looks so modern and sharp. Down here there's a little dock for a mobile phone which is really useful. It's got a phone charger, it's got a USB dock and there's also this jack here. And there's also room just to drop your mobile phone in. And that might seem like a really obvious detail, but you don't see that on many cars. As for driving, the steering in the Fiesta is probably the best in the sector. It's well weighted and precise, so you feel more engaged with the road. But on the motorway it gets heavier, meaning it's not twitchy at high speeds. For a small car, the Fiesta really irons out ripples and potholes too, making for a good balance of ride comfort and handling ability. As time goes by, we tend to get slower, heavier and generally less impressive, but Ford keeps bucking the trend with the new Fiesta. It really is the Peter Pan of the car industry.